This is the MikeDJKelly Podcast. This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
Mike Kelly.
So here we go. It's time for issue number 18 of the fast-moving, amazing, shorter than short, shabby Mike DJ Kelly podcast show, which you should tell your friends about. This issue includes random thoughts and observations and news stories that the others leave well alone. Coming up, competitions, radio, TV, rebooting, traffic lights, snakes, sperm, hairdressers, Microsoft, and a whole lot more. So off we go with another up-to-the-minute shouting, banging, shorter than short podcast. Let's start with the August power cuts, which blacked out many homes and stopped trains and traffic lights working in many parts of the UK. Some say it was an attempt to reboot the country by turning it off and on and hoping the government, Brexit and life in general would get back to normal. Talking of power, stroke energy, with so many electric and gas suppliers going bust, you're now advised to take pictures of your meter readings or statements in case your provider goes to the wall. This will help you prove how much money your previous provider owes you when you move to a new supplier. Many people have been losing hundreds of pounds because of this mishap.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly Podcast.
Still getting wound up by the McCain adverts on TV and their attempts to change potatoes into a range of mass-market comes-in-a-box type products. My missus likes Emmerdale, so we have to endure the McCain potato dance commercial before the show begins. Why you need to do a strange dance before you eat a potato is beyond me. If you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast show, or if you want to send your own stories for the next episode, email cuttings or sound clips to email hello@MikeDJKelly.co.uk or on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco.
This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
Entertainment-wise, if you want something to listen to, give the Tim Vine chat show on BBC Radio 4 a go. Came across it by chance, and apparently it's unscripted. Very funny. You can find it on the BBC download app. On BBC Radio 2, Everything Stops for Tea. Popmaster and Ken Bruce, who in the latest Radar figures has become the most listened to show in the UK with 8.49 million listeners. It used to be Chris Evans who was the top. Last time it was Zoe Ball, but things are changing and now it's Ken. On the telly, Celebrity MasterChef is back. But who are the celebrities? I watch TV most days. How come I do not know who these people are?
Is that true?
Let's guess the celebrity. He was born David Pilditch on the 10th of September 1938 in Manchester. On stage, he's compared shows by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, David Cassidy, and many other pop acts. He has hosted shows at venues like the Royal Albert Hall and the London Palladium, and headlined in 4 major pantomimes. In 1960, he became an in-vision television announcer for ABC TV, then he moved to Thames TV. He presented on the Light programme before moving to Radio 1 in November 1967. Presenting Family Choice. By the late 60s, he was presenting many shows for BBC Radio, including Music Through Midnight, Roundabout, Pop In, and the Radio 1 Club. Who is he? I read that Mormons are being reminded of the rules about drinking coffee and being told if they buy hot or cold drinks in coffee shops, there is a good chance, even if not labelled as coffee, the drink will contain coffee. So beware.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly Podcast.
Bit of gossip on Twitter about working until 75 and tattoos. Spud says, do you really want a paramedic aged 75 trying to help you, making drug calculations at 4 in the morning? I know there's no way I can do it for another 27 years. I do get the feeling the government wants me to die before I retire. Back Pain Barbie says, can I just say, who has no visible tattoos policy in 2019? Well, strange as it is, West Yorkshire Police have been in the news about the same thing this week. Apparently, they are on the verge of changing rules which require police officers to keep tattoos covered while on duty. They are one of the last police forces to have this rule. On the early shift this week and yesterday on my way to work, past a barber's shop that looked to be fully open with a man in the chair having his hair cut. That was at 5:20 in the morning. And talking of time, it occurs to me that Microsoft owes me, and probably the world at large, a lot of time. My Windows Media Player has stopped working due to error code 0x800737-1B. I spent at least 2 hours trying to fix it before giving in and downloading the Alternative 3 Music Bee system, which seems pretty good. At work, the Microsoft system I use takes at least 10 minutes to get going, sometimes a lot longer. I remember a few years ago in America, a large company had a rule that its employees needed to be logged into their computer systems by their shift start time. This was taking on average 10 minutes to do and led to a big court case which the company lost. A new Apple credit card is now out, but you cannot keep it with your other credit cards or it gets scratched, and this will break it. You need to keep it on its own in a velvety, silky type wallet. That's handy, eh?
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly Podcast.
Yep, it's competition time, but with no prizes. What is the song that these lines are from? Well, that's what we normally say, but this one is so easy, you're only going to get one line, which is, there ain't no more, you've taken everything. What song, or name the artist, is that from? There ain't no more, you've taken everything. Please do get in touch about anything to do with the podcast show. Please use either of the following to contact us, especially if you want to send stories or sound bites to us. Email hello@MikeDJKelly.co.uk or on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. If you follow me on Twitter or send your email details to me, you'll be alerted to new editions of the podcast when they are available. Alternative, you can always get the Mike DJ Kelly podcast by going to iTunes or Spotify and searching Mike DJ Kelly, or by following me at podbean.com, and it will message you when a new version is out.
This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
This week's do-gooders are actiononhearingloss.org.uk, a charity since 1911. They are the UK's leading charity supporting people with hearing loss, deafness and tinnitus. Everything you need to know about your hearing. You'll find lots of practical information about hearing loss, deafness, tinnitus and ear problems. They explain the causes, what to do if you're experiencing hearing problems, and what treatments and therapies can help, such as lip reading, tinnitus therapies, hearing aids and cochlear implants. They know that life with hearing loss can sometimes be a challenge, but there are many things you can do and support that you can access so that you can live the life you choose. If you're wondering how you can manage your condition so you're struggling less, they will give you the practical information you need to find services in your area and to identify products to help. They also tell you about benefits and grants and explain your rights at work when you're out and about. They also offer a range of products including phones, alarms and alerts and listening devices designed to help people with hearing loss, deafness or tinnitus. Find out how to get help, how to get involved and how to donate at actiononhearingloss.org.uk. And can I just say, being a bit deaf myself, I found this site very helpful. And talking of being a bit deaf, I keep missing my alarm, so I purchased the Westclock's Baby Ben Authentic Quartz Alarm Clock, which implied it was a replica of the original. It arrived, looked the part, but needs a bloody battery. The alarm is loudish, but not as loud as desired, and it ticks. Went back and reread the advert, as I thought it was a wind-up clock I was buying. The last line at the bottom of the advert is a line saying, requires a battery. Apart from that, everything implies it's like the original. Conned again. Oh, and yes, the Shorter Than Short podcast website of the week is an app this week, the Radio Player app. Just go to your app store and download, and you can listen to almost any radio station in the UK free of charge. Give it a go at the App Store. It's called the Radio Player app.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly Podcast.
Okay, a couple of stories along the same theme. In New Zealand, people are promoting a moss-like lichen substance that grows between the paving stones in certain parts and is said to have Viagra-like qualities. Medical professionals are warning people not to eat it, as it tends to have more dog-related waste products attached to it than any health-giving ones. And in Australia, 2 guys are facing prison sentences for trying to illegally import Danish pig semen into the country in shampoo bottles. Have they never watched Border Check? Worse still, what if someone was about to wash their hair and came across these shampoo bottles?
Is that true?
Crowds in St. Peter's Square were given apologies after Pope Francis said he got stuck in a lift for 25 minutes at the Vatican and had to be rescued by firefighters. Talk about changing your mind. Bosses at the rail delivery group, RDG, said Britain would be dropping out of the international travel scheme after 47 years. Then within 24 hours it changed its mind and said we would be staying as we are. And talking about things we are not sure about, what does the much used word prorogue mean? It's been used a lot and it's upsetting a lot of people, but what does prorogue mean? I know if you break it down, the word rogue is in there. A quick search brings up Merriam-Webster's website, which says it means to terminate a session of something such as British Parliament by royal prerogative.
This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
Let's move on to the roads. I notice a lot of the small red Royal Mail post office vans are still being driven around with early 2000 registrations. When I was in my teens, people would look to buy old Royal Mail and GPO vans as they were sold off after a few years, well maintained and at cheap prices. I did wonder the other day what today's young people would make of driving a car, say from the 1970s, using the choke, pumping the screen wash and getting green shield stamps when buying petrol. Lots of talk in the news that Gairloch in the isolated Highlands, which has the highest UK driving test pass rate with 86.5% passing compared to the national average of 45.8%. No roundabouts, dual carriageways, motorways, starred up streets or roundabouts to worry about here. There are a couple of junctions in Leeds where the traffic lights have blinds across the green lens, so you can see the red clearly, and when it's green, it's sort of obscured by blinds. What's it all about? Please do get in touch about anything to do with the podcast show, or stories or sound clips for future shows. Please use either of the following to contact us. Email hello@MikeDJKelly.co.uk or on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. If you follow me on Twitter or send your email details to me, you will be alerted when new editions of the podcast are available. Alternatively, you can always get the Mike DJ Kelly podcast by going to iTunes or Spotify and searching Mike DJ Kelly, or by following me at podbean.com, and it will message you when a new version is out. And this week's vegan news: the UK's first commercial crop of chickpeas has been harvested in Norfolk this week. Apparently the UK has been working on this for around 4 years, and up to 20 tonnes of the legume-based crop will be grown by 4 farmers across the UK. According to some news reports, the hotter it is, the hotter we will get. This is because more and more of us have air conditioning, and when it gets hot, we turn it on, and the planet then gets warmer. Talking of hot weather, if you're looking for a late holiday, I would give Florida a miss. They're currently enduring a python snake epidemic, with snakes attacking animals and damaging ecosystems, and the quest to stop them has become a collective crusade. If you want to get in touch with this top-rated, much-listened-to podcast, please email hello@MikeDJKelly.co.uk or on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. Indeed, if you want a podcast making for your business or need any help with radio producer or presentation work, please get in touch. And if you've enjoyed listening, please do tell your friends.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly Podcast.
Okay, almost time to go. Guess the celebrity. Born David Pilditch on the 10th of September 1938. On stage, he's compared shows by the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, David Cassidy, and many other pop acts. He first appeared on Radio 1 in November 1967, presenting Family Choice. By the late 60s, he was presenting many shows for the BBC Radio, including Music Through Midnight, Roundabout, Pop In, and the Radio 1 Club. Who is he? Diddy David Hamilton. So what was the song that contained this line? You've done it all, you've broken every code, or should you needed more, there ain't no more, you've taken everything. From my belief in Mother Earth, you can ignore my faith in everything, 'cause I know what faith is and what it's worth. Name the song and the artiste. Steve Harley, Cockney Rebel, Make Me Smile, Come Up and See Me. That's all we have time for in this edition of the crazy, shorter than short, shabby podcast show. From me, Mike Kelly, take care. And remember, you can always find the podcast by searching or shouting Mike DJ Kelly Podcast.
This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
Mike Kelly.